Hey everybody, this is Alpha Zero at your service. I'm going to do a review on a new episode of Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, and it is on episode 5. Now, I know this review is a little late. I did watch the episode a little earlier, but the reason being is that I was late on the reason why this review is a little bit late or a little past the time is because I was focusing on creating my thumbnail for this thing. Now, those of you who saw my thumbnails for Fate Stay Night, you know, it's pretty crazy how I get those multiple picks or something, alright? I work really hard to get those things ready, alright? I'm just being honest with you right now. So if anything else, I'd like to get started right away. Okay, we have a little beginning backstory of Emiya, Shiro, and Kiritsugu in the scene, you know? He says, I want to be a hero of justice, you know? But Emiya says, hey, you know what? I'll take over for you. I mean, you're old, but I'll do the job for you. And those of you who knows how to take it, it was pretty emotional for me because I think that was one of those last moments where Kiritsugu had with Emiya before he died or something, you know? Well, whoops. Well, yeah, it is mentioned bleh. So after the opening, which always seems to be so hyped up for me, every time that song gets on, I'm like, let's go, you know? And there's Sakura, Shiro, and Saber talking to each other, you know? And Saber wanted to get along with, and so forth. And Saber actually wanted to go to school with Shiro, but Shiro says, hey, don't worry about it, everything will be okay, you know? No need to, fret or anything, you know? That kind of thing. And Saber says, okay, but use the command seal use the emergency command seal to call me, okay? And he goes okay. And by that time, it's after he got to school, we see Reen's face I'm like, dude, that face is priceless. You know that face expression she put on. She goes she's like thinking in her mind, what you doing here? She was like, hey man, what's up? Oh yeah. And by that time, his friend ends up having a little meeting with Kuzuki. Well, I actually finally remember who he is now since I kind of took a little step back to take a look at the original Fate Stay Night, and which was really stupid because I actually wanted to remember it this way, but I was so desperate about of watching the original Fate Stay Night and try to compare it to this one, you know. And so far, Shiro was told the school's gonna get shut down and there was a missing student or something, you know. And right now, Shiro decides to go ask Sakura about it, go what's up? But you see, she says she doesn't really know anymore, and after that, all after-school clubs are cancelled and so forth and other things, including the libraries shut off. And by that time, Reen is taking this opportunity when I looked at Reen's face or something, her eyes were really deadly or something. And by that time, Shiro meets Reen Tosaka on the staircase, and she says, how much of an idiot are you? Are you asking hey, you want to kill me right now? Go ahead. And right now, that face expression, and right now, Amy says, hey, you know we're at school. How do you know no one's around? And she asks him, hey, is anyone around? That kind of expression or tone. I'm like, oh boy. And right here, Emiya and Reen ends up, Reen takes her first shot, but not before she was I have no reason to fight you, but I do, Reen says. And then she shot at him and she ends up running, you know? And he ends up running around, he goes knock it off, will ya? But, you know, as for Reen, you know, she ends up, you know, in a certain, now, comparison to what I seen in the Fate Stay Night when, Reen, attacking Shiro on the staircase, she actually used one of her abilities to actually use her legs to upgrade it, you know, which is pretty nice or something, you know. And right now I actually enjoyed it to that certain extent, but seeing how she managed to hit him on the leg, I'm like, holy dang. And right now, before Reen manages to trap him in the barrier, but Emiya ends up using a desk, and then she was about to use an explosive spell, but But thanks to like Emiya's like trace on, it manages to protect him, you know. And well, it wasn't an explosion. It was like a multiple hit like thing. And when I looked at that animation, man, that was pretty beautiful. I was pretty beautiful in my eyes. And Emiya ends up taking a sharp pipe and traced it on, and he ends up going outside and he ends up facing Rin head on, and she tells him, "You better put that silly weapon down. You have no chance of winning." Emiya says like, "I don't know unless I try, alright?" Which I encourage his bravery. And she ends up saying like, "I'm giving you 3 seconds. Give me your command seals." And Emiya says, "Screw you. That's not going to." It's like, well, in other words, it's like saying, Emiya says like, "I can't do that. You know, I can't do that because like that's betraying Saber." In other words, he's pretty much saying, if I were to think modern times right now, if it was in America, it's like saying, screw yourself, I ain't giving you." And right now the battle had to stop for a bit due to a scream, and Rin managed to save the person, you know. But Emiya blocks a hit for Tosaka, which really disabled his right arm or something. Which disabled his right arm, I believe. And later he decides to go in the forest and see what's up. And we end up seeing another servant coming into battle. And I go like, holy dang, not good, you know. I'm like, holy dang. And by that time, like, they actually end up fighting for a bit, you know. But you see here, Emiya ends up insulting her, saying, you're not, compared to the other servants, you weren't impressive. And she says, you were at my mercy all along. And she was about to give him a merciful death, but later he ends up being chained up to a tree, and he tries to fight back, but she got him in the a certain chain or something, and that really, and she was about to like torture him greatly, like she was about to pluck out his eyes and then like go on to the rest of his limbs or something, but Tosaka comes in to save him just in the nick of time, and she just ends up disappearing after that. I'm like, holy dang, that was pretty crazy. I mean, I admire Shiro to take her on like that, but as a master, you know, and not even a good old mage, you're pretty much dead. And Emiya was about. And honestly, that woman, and right now, like, Emiya says, don't look at me like that, you know? I couldn't tell, but there was another master here besides us, probably. And Emiya asks what happened to the student. She says, oh, she's went out of the woods. And so far, like, Emiya had that serious face on, like, oh, okay, let's go. And Rin's like, what are you talking about? Like, Emiya says, hey, but what about our fight, huh? And so far, like, Tosaka says, like, let's call it a day. Let's go to my place, and she bandages them up. And so far, like, there's been a couple things that's been going on around here. But you know, like, Rin says, like, how about this? You and I, like, call it a truce, you know? And we just agreed to simply ceasefire, and then as long as you don't betray me, I'll assist you, blah, blah, blah. They shake hands as an alliance, you know? But Emiya decides to tell Rin about his special ability and about his father, you know. But she ends up scolding him, like saying, you shouldn't tell me that. But Emiya says, like, my father told me not to hide your stuff, or don't even follow the rules or something, you know, that kind of thing. And that right there, you already know who his father is, you know. I already told you guys before. And he says, like, my old man's dead, blah, 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 you know, that kind of thing. And by that time, it's like, Rin tells her backstory, and it shows a little, like, something that how much she misses her father, you know. It's too bad she did not get to know who he really, really was. And pretty much, like, it's like, that's the reason we're born, and it's what we die for, blah, blah, blah. And after that, like, Rin tells Shiro that his father puts himself as a father before a mage, so he was not a mage or something, and that is understandable. So yeah, so it ends there. I think next episode is gonna be a little like tight. It's gonna be a little tight knit, you know, and I'm actually looking forward to it, you know. And here and there, I hope like it becomes becomes good, you know. I mean, I took a look at, well, it didn't show me any images or something, but it does say a couple like quotes here and there. And right now, like there are a couple voices that's been shown, you know. And even though he says, and then next episode is called Mirage or something, which I'm looking forward to. Now, this episode was pretty cool, you know. I mean, like the animation was there, and the way how they have Rin like being like a total boss right now, like firing those things and having an arm like traced on it, like using those magic or something, and then she used her leg, she put magic on her legs and wall jumped, you know, and then like fired at Shiro having courage, you know, willing to stand up and fight. Dude, that's like boss, that's like a boss right there, you know. And yeah, we see another servant. We see another servant come in, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you who's been watching my reviews on Fate and other things, and you've been asking me like, who is he? Who is she? Who is she? I cannot tell you that. As you can see, I only say it when it is revealed in this episode, and in other previous episodes too, because that's the person I am. So I need you to be patient if you're gonna watch, if you watch my reviews, you know. And that's when I'm going to tell you what's up, you know. Because I want you guys to be surprised or something, you know. And you already know what the seven classes of a servant is, so yeah. So I really must apologize for this review to come out long. And I want to keep it short. But, you know, at the same time, I have it late because I've been working on my thumbnail. Like, that thing took me minutes and took me a lot of hard work to actually get that. And so forth. And I'm just doing this for fun, too. And, you know, like, yeah, pretty nice episode, you know. I actually want, you know, before this review or episode, I actually want to watch a show before it, because sometimes that show does not really like does not really suit me at all. Well, just being honest. So if anything else, pretty nice episode, you know. But as a reviewer, I think it went alright, you know. Animation was there. I mean, at least it wasn't nighttime this time, you know. It was like in the evening time for the meantime. So nice episode. So I end my review right here. I'm out for 0 people. Have a good day, and I'll see you on my next video. Alright? Later. Peace out. Bye-bye.